Hello everyone, it's me, Andrew. Happy Friday the 13th. Yeah, so, I hope everyone's having a spooky time. It is the spook of the month of spooky. Yeah. So I'm going to be talking about my favourite top 5 films. This was kind of hard to do, because I try to base it off on scare factor and the psychological effect it had on me afterwards. By the way, no spoiler alert. I'm just gonna keep it spoiler free, so we're all good. Way. So for my number one, kind of number 1 and 2, but my number 1. This isn't quite a film in particular, but it's more like a series. Apologies for the creaky floorboard. I hope it adds some atmosphere and me talking about my fave horror films. This floor, I don't even know. My top 1 has to be the Conjuring universe. I love it so much because it just, Ed and Lorraine Warren, I love those two. I think one of my favourite things about Conjuring number 2 was that it was based around the Enfield poltergeist, and that was like a huge thing back at home over here, like in the 70s. I really liked it because they made it like super scary. I love it. Quite a few jump scares, but it's a great series. I love it. People may say it's a bit cheesy, but for me, I really like it. There's something on the side as well as scariness. Who knows? And obviously like couples struggling and this whole entire family struggling, and it's beautiful. I'm gonna stop talking about it. Second one, The Ring. So it's not really quite scary. Again, this isn't really a film, it's more like the series, The Ring series. Ugh, top horror series, universe films. Yeah, and I mean the Japanese version, not the American version, because that's just, if I want to have a laugh, I'll just go watch that. The thing with Asian horror films is that it's a lot sad than you would assume would be scary. So you think it's going to be scary. It's just a sad backstory of why a demonic presence or a ghost would haunt. It's just it's just sad. But The Ring is great. I love it. It does well within the time when it was filmed and set in terms of videotapes and VHS. Would The Ring work out today? I don't think so. It was good back then because it's all this whole time mystery of this videotape. The Ring series is good. Also, if you in comparison to like Ring 1 and Ring 2, the format and just the lighting of Ring 1, it's so dark, which makes it very sinister. But also, it's kind of funny to watch it, but it's scary. It's still scary. Number 3, The Curse. So this film is a hidden gem that me and my friend found on YouTube, and it is such a good film. There are no jump scares. The way how it's been filmed is like, you know, those documentaries, and this is just about a director going into these ghost stories and paranormal activities that's been happening in various small towns and villages, and I love how it's all set up. Again, kind of old school in terms, because of video cameras, not iPhone stuff, where you'd see today sometimes it's not played out as great as, you know, some things were back then. This is really good. It's kind of a slow film at the start, and sometimes because it feels like there's a lot of stuff being added onto it, you feel like you might get lost. But to be honest, the way how it builds up, same as the characters and the story, it's all for a reason, and it makes sense like towards the end. So it's a really good film, and it's absolutely horrifying at the end. One Missed Call. That film, when I think it was like 17 or 16, younger than that. That film really fucked me up after I watched it with my friends, and awful. Awful in terms of like super scary. I don't want to even, I have to turn every light in the house in order to feel safe. But the film really messed me up. One of the things that really messed me up was the ringtone. Again, I'm talking about the Japanese version. I'm not talking about the American version of the film. It's all different. One Missed Call, the Japanese version, is amazing. It is so good. It is just scary. It's just, again, loads of jump scares. Some deaths where you're like, how is that even physically possible? And you're kind of like, okay, but when I watched it the first time, it was scary AF, but then when I watched it again with a friend, I was like, it's not that scary as it used to be. But the reason why it's on my top 5 is because of the effect it had on me afterwards, where I couldn't sleep properly for a month. You know, that kind of feeling. Last but not least, It, the new film, It. So, I recently watched that, and that scared the hell out of me. Like, see, I watched the Tim Curry version of it, like way back in year 10, that really messed me up. That just set off this haunted fear of like just scary looking clowns, and I wasn't sure if I was actually going to enjoy it. I mean, I didn't, in terms of it was very terrifying and scary, and I was kind of revisiting a nightmare kind of all over again, but it still had that fear factor of like, you know, the old school version was scary as hell, and then watching it again, it was just like, it's even more scary and terrifying, and like, I appreciate the fact that I wasn't even less scared. I was just kind of like, I'm petrified, I'm so scared. So that's the reason for my watch. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is quite random. But I thought for Friday the 13th, I'm gonna just do something a bit spooky. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye! How did I get out my camera to focus? Well, I just have this little friend here. I'm talking about top 5 horror films. And this is a horror film. Looking at old Pericura pictures of me back in the day. My hair was awful.